New York City Council members are considering several police reform measures, including bills that will force cops to get suspects' consent for searches, imprison police for using chokeholds, and require cops to give out the Civilian Complaint Review Board's phone number. Obviously, rank-and-file cops are fuming over this even after the death of Eric Garner and pretty bad reputation that they have been working hard to erase. And Margaret, I think these reforms are really, really needed. This will allow them to ease out a long-standing kind of bad, rocky relationship with minorities in the city, but at the same time is creating unrest on the, within the police officers of how much room they will have to actually be proactive doing their jobs.
Well, the image of cops, especially New York City cops, that took a beating by all of these, warrantless deaths that have been happening, and they should have to reestablish their commitment and trust, the way that they're seen, because their entire ability to operate depends on how people see them. And when people lose trust, public trust, in an institution like that, like law enforcement, that's a serious problem. Society begins to break down. But 18,000 police departments in this country, and a lot of negative press they've been getting. They've all been getting it, but New York especially, they started stop and frisk. I remember all of the stories coming out about stop and frisk in New York cops and how negative it is and how they shouldn't be allowed to do it. They were targeting minority groups, and it's good that they're trying to rehabilitate their image. They should have reforms, but it seems like they're fighting the reforms and they don't want them anyway, but they need to do them. I mean, their jobs depend on it.
Of course, but let's talk about what these reforms actually will be, and they all seem to be directed to curb down police brutality. Some of them are requiring that uniformed cops provide their full name, rank, and precinct, as well as their CCRB number. So if there's anything that the person being detained didn't like, they can call and establish a complaint. Another measure that will allow police to use injurious physical force only as proportionally necessary, although that's pretty broad language and it lends itself to be analyzed on a case-by-case basis. Also, making the NYPD report the presence of 200 cops with the most complaints filed against them. So this is first they're trying to open up the data to see how prevalent this issue is, and also I'm guessing that mainly is to prevent the NYPD to getting sued.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're not going to really see true reform, Jose, until the cops are not allowed to police themselves any longer. We take it out of the context of internal audit and we put it in a separate place so that people looking at it with a different pair of eyes can say, no, this was really wrong, or you were justified. But really quickly, the Patrolmen Benevolent Association, 66% of those members, they say that they're fearful of being sued. And they should be fearful of being sued because, we are a litigious society, but if they're violating the law, violating human rights, then they're vulnerable. There's no protection behind that badge any longer, and it's because of the image and how they're perceived. Secondly, 85% say proactive policing will result in negative complaints. So they feel like if they're doing their job, they're going to receive a negative complaint. So having
that will hurt their employment.
That'll
down
hurt
the
their
road.
employment.
Yeah.
We need a third body to look at cops' behavior, let them stop policing themselves. That's where real reform begins, and body cameras too.
The president of the PBA, the Patrolmen Benevolent Association, Patrick Lynch, put out a statement attacking these reforms, and he said, this piece of legislation has been proposed by individuals who have neither the expertise nor the experience to establish policy in the dangerous business of fighting crime. He also said, policing policies must be left to the police management who understand the intricacies and difficulties of complex legal issues and the appropriate use of crime-fighting tactics. So let me be the judge of my own stuff, so nobody can say that I did a bad job.
Condescending remark right there. I mean, you don't understand what we're doing. You have no ability to understand it, so we should be policing ourselves. That's the problem right there. He couldn't have summed it up better himself. He didn't realize he was summing up the problem.
Well, this is very important that these reforms come to effect because New York City is going to hire 1,300 new officers in the next 12 months. So it's very important that this new generation, this new class of police officers in New York City are conducting themselves in the proper manner, and we start to move away from this police brutality and the death with no reason like Eric Garner happened. But we want to know how you feel. Let us know in the comments, and please subscribe to the Lib TV 2.